those areas to be as high. We're looking at an office. You'll see here the display screen equipment is one of the areas in which they perceive there is the highest level of risk due to the exposure of employees to the hazards arising from this. Whereas manual handling has received very little attention, as the level of risk it poses is unlikely to be any higher than you would experience in day-to-day life. And so you can critique these and consider whether they would comply with the legal requirements for the different areas, but it is just a general feel of what they have done that I would like you to take home from this. So these risk assessments that we've looked at are entirely qualitative. But what if we were now starting to use something to help to guide our thinking as to whether the level of risk was high, medium, or low, and to help us to structure our thoughts with regards to the scoring? Well, this is where risk matrices come into use, and this is what might be termed as a semi-quantitative approach. The term, don't forget, semi-quantitative is a bit of a poor term to describe what's going on here, because you are just trying to use numbers to do a qualitative risk assessment. It's not quantitative at all, because if you want to decide what is likely to cause, so what is certainty, what is probable, what is possible, then it's entirely opinion based. If you're deciding the level of the severity, then again it's entirely opinion based. And so these come in multiple different shapes and sizes, but they all ultimately will break up the severity and the likelihood, and may consider whether single or multiple people will be involved, and they will give you scores which either add or multiply up in order to provide a final score. The higher that score is, generally the higher the level of risk from that hazard. So you can see here how they're going to be a useful thing to use. However, there is still a lot of subjectivity here. So what is practically impossible to one person may not be practically impossible to another person. So we have a lot of perception going on here. The consequences, what you consider to be a first aid injury or medical treatment injury, may be different from one person to the next, and so these will often come with some form of guidance. However, they are the form of words that you use when you're creating one of these tables can do a great deal to steer the thinking of the person using that table, and so may end up skewing the results of your risk assessment.